to try to save this country. And I'm hoping that by me coming forward and doing the best I can and for surviving as long as I can, I will inspire other insiders and give them the courage and the hope they need to make that decision as well, and see if we can't start making some progress against this thing.
It's important to understand what the 5G is doing and what they say it's doing. We're told on the IEEE beamforming document that this technology cooked your eyes like eggs in World War II.
Voice-to-skull, hive mind, behavior manipulation technology.
And you all need to understand these are military weapons. These are assault frequencies.
The true control grid is this technology.
If you garner nothing more than that, that's what you need to know. It's microwave radiation warfare. This is what this is.
Supercomputer software programming will manipulate the emotions and behavior and the thoughts of everybody in the United States of America. And it can all be done remotely. It's very much like the microchip kind of tracking the New World Order, this entire, control grid that's supposed to be rolled out against the American people someday. And I'm here to tell you that it's already here.
You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. All I'm offering is the truth, nothing.
The goal of creating artificial intelligence was for them to become gods, to create a collective mind, a global computer that sees all, sees everything, to create an all-seeing eye.
In 2007, the Register reported that the Pentagon was developing a parallel to planet Earth with billions of individual nodes to reflect every man, woman, and child on the planet, blurring the lines between reality and artificial reality. It is called the Sentient World Simulation, a neural network with massive computing power.
We're all collectively programming the AI and Google plus all the humans that connect to it are one giant cybernetic collective where we're all sort of plugged in as like nodes on the network, like leaves on a big tree.
And we're actually building a computer that has real neurons in real time that's also psychically connected to us, that are organic creatures, a human mass-machine interface, dial it into all the other machines and computers, and have a lifetime model of the world hooked into GPS everything, the Internet of Things, to then be able to predict the future and then be able to control the future.
We have to embody all our data and all our knowledge into a working model. It's like a Noah's Ark, it's like an archive.
So the way we're going to do that is to build a kind of Microsoft for the brain, or Google for the brain, where we're going to bring all the information that we have ever accumulated on the brain and bring it, upload it into this environment, organize it, and then we're going to develop algorithms that connect all of this data.
We'll be able to start exploring and get inside the brain. You see, today I cannot get inside your brain to see how it works. I can measure it from the outside, but I can't get inside and look at what you see. But with this, you'll be able to step inside a brain and look at how it builds a world. The brain creates, builds a version of the universe and projects this version of the universe like a bubble all around us.
We want to be able to use those parallel universes to compute things that then come back and affect us and answer questions in ours. We want to grab those parallel realities from this abstract space in which they live and crunch them down into this chip.
And you start thinking about us being the qubits in some massive giant quantum computing simulation. It's almost as if they're either trying to harness or to recreate what is commonly referred to as a collective consciousness.
And in conventional computing, in software, These things are often called neural nets. We have a hardware version up in our head. It's called our brain. The chips that we build are architected like neural nets. There are hardware versions of neural nets.
They can literally plug you into the internet, which is just to give you a very simple way of understanding that. And what that scientist there is describing now is the hive mind. Now, if people think this is somehow sci-fi or conspiracy theory, they're absolutely wrong, and they're way behind this, because this is here now. It's been done. It's been done in experiments, and it's been proven to work. And this is the technology. This is the first phase of technology that's going to come after the kind of AI goggles, the kind of Google virtual world stuff. After that is coming this stuff, and this is going to come in a lot sooner than you think. And quite frankly, it terrifies me.
Everything connected to the internet will be connected to the mirror world, and anything connected to the mirror world will see and be seen by everything else in this interconnected environment.
This was a white paper put out by
Dr. Kissinger, our satellite time is running out. What wonderful opportunity to conclude our week here with such concrete proposals and ideas of how we can really create, I would say, a new world order.
The very idea of human being some sort of natural concept is really going to change.
Our bodies will be so high-tech, we won't be able to really distinguish between what's natural and what's artificial.
Inside our own heads is the most complex arrangement of matter in the known universe.
You might ask yourself, can we get to be superhumans?
Through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
It will, first of all, it will definitely happen. I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual, kind of the most common interface.
Wow.
Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
And
we're not talking about implanted devices of the future. I'm talking about wearable devices that are like Fitbits for your brain. It used to be that there was very little we could tell from EEG activity. But already, using consumer wearable devices, these are headbands, hats that have sensors that can pick up your brainwave activity, earbuds, headphones, tiny tattoos that you can wear behind your ear. We can pick up emotional states like, are you happy or sad or angry? We can pick up and decode faces that you're seeing in your mind. Simple shapes, numbers, your PIN number to your bank account.
You need to know who's been vaccinated and who hasn't been. Some of the vaccines that will come on down the line will be multiple shots. So you've got to have, for reasons to do with the healthcare more generally, but certainly for a pandemic or for vaccines, you've got to have a proper digital infrastructure. And many countries don't have that. In fact, most countries don't have that.
Dr. Kissinger, our satellite time is running out. What wonderful opportunity to...
There is a massive shift happening right now, and this massive shift have been in the works over the decades for a long period of time, but gradually this shift, the people orchestrating this shift have to ease you into this shift. It's not something that would just overnight happen because a lot of people wouldn't know how to assimilate to this shift. So gradually, they've been pushing you forward to wholeheartedly accept this shift. There's a reason why there's always a new model of phones coming out. iPhones have, every year they have a new model. Where does it end? Well, it ends when the components that make up an iPhone are embedded directly inside of you. And the CEO of Nokia, he mentioned that in one of the clips you just saw. He talked about how these devices will be embedded directly inside of you, which is, you can call it the brain-computer interface. You can call it the Internet of all things, IOBs, the Internet of bodies, which all of this is known as the fourth industrial revolution, where humans will be merged with machines, technology. See, this massive shift that is happening, some can see for what it is, and others, they don't really understand it until it hits them in the face. And one crazy thing about this shift that is going on in our reality right now is, whether you're prepared for it or not, it is going down. That's why I had to play a couple of these clips, letting you know about how the severity of the whole situations we're in right now. So everything that is happening in the earth is leading us to this paradigm shift, right? To this whole new way of living, this whole new way of doing things. One of the clips you saw, an individual was talking about how he wants to get in your head. He wants to get in your brain. And the other clip, the guy was saying how the brain is the most complex of matter, the way he was describing the brain, and they're trying to get into your head, in your brain, and build a hive mind where we will all think the same thing, we'll all perceive the same thing. See, it all sounds sci-fi. Even in the clip it was mentioned, it sounds sci-fi, but the people that are doing this, the evil individuals that are doing this, they are almost at the end of the road with this. They've almost accomplished this. All they're waiting is for the right chaos, the right nudge that will lead everyone to this point in time, this point in history, the point in our reality. And you should be aware of it. You should be very aware of what is happening in our lifetime. This is Job, the 5th chapter and the 12th verse. It says, "He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise." In the NLT, "He frustrates the plans of schemers, so the work of their hands will not succeed." All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and continue to teach us this truth. Peace, salutation, shalom, shalom, shalom to all your brothers and sisters out there that are of the household of faith, beginning with 144,000 mighty men of the house of Israel, down to the men, women, and children that are allotted to be delivered in these latter days, who are of the elect, and to the brothers that are pushing this gospel in all sincerity and in all honesty. To you all, I say shalom, which means peace to you. And, the age we are in right now, the new age where everything is going digital, and you have the CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink, saying everything can be tokenized, and tokenization is to have a digital representation of everything that is real. So even they're trying to have a digital you, right? All these 5Gs and 6Gs you're building, they're not doing it so you can have a faster internet that is so far from it. That's why I played the clips you saw. And a part of that clip, they were going into the dynamics of 5G, 6G, and all of that craziness. Not only the side effects that it have on the human body, right? But also what they're looking to achieve with this. Because they need everybody to be online, not just you logging into your phone online. Now they need you yourself to be online. You heard a lot of talk about upload this, upload that, right? So where they're taking it is to the point where the metaverse will now become the real world. Metaverse, the artificial world. Now you understand why there's been a push for artificial intelligence. Is to get you ready for an artificial world. What better way to live in an artificial world than to be governed by artificial intelligence, AI? You see, everything is done by design. All of a sudden, ChatGPT, even if you type something on Google, right, they give you the AI overview, right? And they've gradually made people to gravitate towards that, right? You know, people have their have AI come up with avatars and videos and all kinds of things. I mean, it is mind-blowing sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's not just for your entertainment. There's always something nefarious behind all this push for new technology. Bring it back to where, you know, the quote I mentioned earlier, the fourth industrial revolution. And part of the video, the clips I saw, the lady was talking about very soon, it will be very hard to differentiate between what is natural and what is not. Because that's how much they're going to merge it together, right? Because a lot of the times these days you see a video asking, is that AI? Is that real? Or is that, this is where we're going, to the point where you wouldn't know what is what. You would be, you know, talk about living in a la-la land, right? That is the artificial world we are all about to be living in. Not only the world itself, even the food will be artificial. I mean, to some point, the food is already artificial with the GMOs and things, right? Now they're coming out with straight up made in the lab. This is where we are. And you have to understand this and understand what it means for you and your children and everyone you love, everyone around you. But the thing is, the wicked individuals, the wicked elites, the globalists who are Edomites that are pushing for all this modern technology, this new way of living, it will fail. Eventually, it will fail, because something like that will try to override the natural way of living, it cannot work. Because the earth itself is a natural entity. We ourselves, we are natural beings. And we are supposed to live in harmony with the natural way of doing things. So when you hear non-binary, these are all part of the transhumanist agenda. What do you mean you're non-binary? You are created to be a certain way. This is the way it is. To the point where nobody can give you a definition of what a woman is. All of these talking points are done by design. It is pushing us to that transhumanist agenda. This is why I had to bring out the scripture in Job, the 5th chapter, and the 12th verse that says, he disappointeth the devices of the crafty. Who is the he? Well, the God of the Bible, whose name is Yahweh, and his only begotten son, whose name is Yahweh Shai. So the he here, the Most High, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem meaning in the name of Yahweh Shai, his only begotten son. It says, he disappointeth the devices of the crafty. To be crafty, that is how you come up with all these devices that are looking to put in your brain, the brain-computer interface, right? The Internet of Bodies, to hook you up to this. You become nodes. We heard Elon Musk saying it. just be like leaves in a tree, right? We'll all just come up under one grid, living off this one grid. So because now the grid we are under is the God of the Bible, Yahweh. The true heavenly, our heavenly Father. This is the grid. We are all a part of Him, right? Because there's no life without Him. So the wicked elites, they're trying to come up with a whole new God, so to speak, right? And then we're hooked up on this grid and just live our lives in an artificial way of living. You see? So this is how crafty they are with their devices, the fourth industrial revolution, with their technology and these technocrats that are pushing this technology. You see? It says, so their hands cannot perform their enterprise. What is their enterprise? Well, the NWO, the Great Reset. Novus Ordo Seclorum, right? It crowns our enterprise with success. So that enterprise is the NWO agenda, the globalist agenda, which the wicked elites are pushing for. This is where their minds is at to accomplish this agenda. And we are almost there. We are almost there. So before they can get you there, they have to make things so crazy to the point where when they finally present you with this new way of living, a lot of people will break and go towards it, right? A lot of people will think that will be the only way forward because they've made the earth a living hell. So all this craziness that's happening to the earth right now, it is all a part of this agenda. People not being able to afford things anymore. The cost of living is ridiculous. It is all part of this enterprise that they are building to make life a living hell. When they present the alternative lifestyle, you'll be like, oh man, let's just go with this and see if it will be better. And they'll present it to you like it will be the best thing since cooked food. In the NLT, he says, he frustrates the plans of schemers. What is that plans? Well, what I said earlier, their enterprise. This new way of living. It says, so the work of their hands will not succeed. In the 13th verse, it says, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. In the NLT, he traps the wise in their own cleverness. So all this talk, the clip you saw, all the crazy talk they were talking about, how they're trying to get in your head, how they're trying to come up with this technology, this, that, right? Well, the Most High, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, is trapping them in their own cleverness. Guys like Elon Musk, guys like Bill Gates, right? All those crazy guys. It says, so their cunning schemes are thwarted. Ultimately, it will be null and void, right? It will be null and void. Which brings us here real quick. Let's get this in Psalms, the second chapter. Psalms, the second chapter, in the first verse, it says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? In the NLT, why are the nations so angry? Why do they waste their time with futile plans? You see that? So their plans, the plans that they have, is not. It wouldn't come to fruition. I mean, they will get it up and running, but eventually it will collapse under its own fake artificial weight because it wasn't built to last. It cannot last. That's why the scripture talks about, if the days are not shortened, there will be no flesh left. So if they're allowed to achieve this agenda, transhumanist agenda, guess what? We will all die, even the wicked elites. It will kill off everything. Just the destruction alone that 5G, 6G causes to the nature, that alone would just totally wipe out natural things. Like the lady was talking about how the 5G grid and all that, it cooks your eyeballs and things. You see? So we'll all eventually just die off. That's why their plans is nothing but vain thing. Futile plans. It wouldn't happen. So it goes on to say, the second verse, the kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together, right? Every year they have Davos meetings, G20 summits and summit that and this and that, all these meetings that they have, Bilderberg groups, things of that nature where they come together to talk about how to push us all to this NWO agenda, this great reset, right? That's what the scripture is talking about here. The kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord. Like I said earlier, they're trying to move everything away from the God of the Bible and have an artificial way of doing things. And against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. So all this technology they're developing is just a rebellion against the Creator, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. That's all there is to it. So they think technology will be their way to escape the clutches of the Creator. That's why it goes on to say, the fourth verse, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. So the God of the Bible, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, will laugh at them. Why? Like we read earlier, these are futile plans. It wouldn't really take root. So he will laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. Right? They are deluding themselves, thinking all of this is gonna, pan out the way they think it's gonna pan out, right? So let's close out with this in the book of Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus, the 19th chapter, and the 22nd verse. It says, the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. That's what it is. Being able to come up with technology to get into somebody's brain and their head and try to, tweak it, and you see what I'm saying? Do all kinds of crazy stuff. Turn humans into robots and cyborgs and things. To merge nature with machines. That is wicked, and it is not really wisdom, because it doesn't benefit us in any way, shape, or form. It says, neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence. So when they come together in all these meetings to talk about what their plans for the future, guess what? They're just sinners coming up with foolishness. So it's not really prudent. The 23rd verse, there is a wickedness, and the same is an abomination. Trying to implant a microchip, the mark of the beast, in every man, woman, and child, that is an abomination. Saying that a man can be a man, a man can be a woman, and a woman can be a man, and all that craziness is nothing but abomination. It says, and there is a fool wanting, meaning lacking in wisdom. That's exactly what the wicked elites are. They lack true wisdom. Because if they had wisdom, they will understand that all these plans that they have will all lead us to destruction. Here, just a little something, for you to keep up with all the plans that are going on right now. And with that, all praises to the Most High, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakha Kodash. See you next time, Lord willing. Shalom. Shalom.